Hey, what is up everybody, Blades here, and today for you guys another video of Persona 5X. Inside of this video, guys, we're going to be talking about everything that has been changed for global, all the way from TW, KR, CN, you name it. Now, I had to come out with this a little bit early because a lot of people are thinking that my whole standpoint on review bombing is absolutely terrible. Well, no. Okay, here's the thing. When it comes down to review bombing, how I see it isn't going to be in a way that reviewing itself as a bad review is a bad thing. This is something that I stand on you guys for having an open voice for. The review, at least the review bombers that I am talking about, are the ones who are saying, oh, we get less rewards and such of this nature, such as like mementos, or getting less rewards in the palaces from our chest, when that's absolutely not true. The way that I'm actually clarify this today is going to show you guys a whole doc that is a 20-page doc that has been cross-referenced and checked from all of the versions to actually tell you guys what has been there. So if you guys are interested in this, be sure to sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. As always, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Once again, my stance on review bombing. If it is a review bomb that absolutely has no actual backing behind it, then it is terrible. This is something I will not back down from, and quite literally I see it as a point, or at least a company, to further on push on from doing the correct thing. Because if you don't know exactly what you're talking about, what's the point of them taking at least actual intake or actually taking that feedback seriously when the person commenting on that said thing doesn't know what they're talking about? Two, when it does come down to the actual reviews, you guys, I do press you guys as much as possible. Review as much as possible. Make sure you understand what you are reviewing and make sure it's done correctly. By all means, this game does deserve a lot of negative feedback currently, and we will only get to hear their full on stance of things into the next, at least live stream. So I'm going to help you guys as much as possible with this. Be sure to leave down below any comment that you need them to know down below as much as possible, and try to push out the video, because what I want to make sure this does is it gets to, no matter what, anyone who needs to see it as much as possible. At the end of the day, I'm here for you guys. I'm not here against you guys. And I feel like a lot more of you guys think I'm more against you than anything. In fact, when it comes down to some of the comments I've been getting, a lot of you guys think I'm against you, in which really do think that I'm going against don't review bomb, it doesn't help the game, in which I will stand on that point. If you are review bombing, just to say, for an example, as I said before, we're getting a lot less gems without actually providing that information or providing where that's coming from, or without actually having said information in general. It makes no sense. Reason being, because it's actually false, and I'm here to prove that today. So that's the only reason why I'm saying this, guys. It's nothing versus you guys, at least are saying. As this person did say, make your voices, at least make your voices known, don't review bomb. I do agree with don't review bombing. I do also agree with review correctly and justifiable. As for make your voices known, yes, do so. You really want to do so, the companies do need to know. But now we've gotten that disclaimer out the way, this is going to be a doc that is up to 20 pages long here. I'm going to just briefly summarize everything and show you guys everything. The first thing you guys need to know, this is going to be comparing at least CN up to NA, and CN has the most benefits out of all of the versions really, and that's compared to TW and KR. So apparently someone sent this to me and actually was able to cross-reference absolutely everything that NA itself has changed compared to CN. So the first thing that we're going to be talking about, this is the all levels, in which this is going to be from all the way to level 1 up to level 45. This was changed on at least the NA side, in which was a reduction. Instead of at least by having at least NA with the actual jewels that we need, we're only getting 6 weapon pools. Majority of the time, instead of actually getting those actual pulls that we did get, including with our pulls here on the sidelines, we were only getting these weapon pulls. These weapon pulls themselves do not equate to the gems, so this was overall a actual loss on NA's side, and it was mainly a huge deal for the point of time. This is a huge one that I feel like they really needed to fix, but this is at least at the end of the day for the first 45 levels, and I don't think they're going to change that anytime soon, seeing that this more or less would mean they would have to refund a lot more people than they would probably like. Unfortunately, I don't agree with this change here, and it is something that you guys do need to know of. As for the second change here, which is the big one that I feel like a lot of you guys should hold them accountable for the most part, is the Marion release. Marion on NA ended up actually releasing in 1.1, as we do know here, but on CN it was in 1.2. Apparently right after at least the CN release here, we ended up getting Marion, I want to say 1.3 right afterwards. Now, unfortunately, it has been confirmed that we are getting a delayed release for Marion. We don't have the actual date here. Hopefully in the 1.3 at least, or sorry, 1.2 update for NA, we get to know that date. And I feel like a lot of people really should be pressing on the fact. Main reason for this is because if you actually leave a review or anything about this factor, it makes more sense. They're not communicating with their community, and they're fairly much so denying to actually go ahead and do so. This is a huge deal, seeing now we've locked out of, at least we don't have our Marion inside of LaFell's plan, nor do we have at least the weapon inside LaFell's plan. Even though the weapon was added on later in, we're still going to be missing that dude. So it does pose a little bit of a problem on that end. So you guys really want to be vocal on this the most. Now, another change here is the actual golden ticket change. It appears apparently inside of the Korean servers, you get 4 tickets, but inside of CN, which aligns with NA, is getting 3. This technically is not changed. For also TW as well, I think we only got 3 gold tickets, and then for CN, you only get 3 gold tickets. KR seems to be the only exception with the 4 gold tickets, so we're not really getting cheaped out inside of this at least standpoint. So there's not really a reason to even bring this up as a problem. Most people are going off about this as well, which isn't a huge deal to begin with, but I guess it's something for people to complain about. Then we have, of course, the LeBlanc rewards. This was one I actually did not know about until actually a couple days ago, in which they did change. This one itself, we get 200 less jewels and 150 less rebel coins, but if you actually end up doing everything, including the missions for said rebel coins, you're actually getting all those rebel coins back to end up buying out the entire cafe shop, or at least the shop itself. So really the only thing we're losing out is 200 jewels, which is still kind of saddening to see, but we're getting everything out of the exchange shop, so it's not that big of a deal. This one, as for a little bit of a change, is the beginner's pack outfit, which is just a different variant of the outfit itself. Nothing big to really worry about. And then when it comes down to the battle pass, there is no rewards getting decreased in the battle pass that a lot of you guys did think about. In fact, rewards are higher for at least character materials themselves, and everything else is equated the same way. This is something that's actually featured on the NA side, so once again, this is a pro for at least NA and more of a minus for the rest of the version. Then when we look at the changes for the actual birthday mats, the only things that are changed are after these 2 actual lines. After you see energy drinks, these are the other things that are changed. To be honest, it's just birthday outfits, or at least birthday materials, in which the gifts are pretty darn nice for other characters, but I mean, it's not a huge deal, so most people probably wouldn't be complaining about this one. Some other changes that were here was palaces and mementos rewards. It's been a huge deal that a lot of you people have been going around and saying we have less rewards than TW, KR, and CN. We're getting a lot less inside of mementos. We're getting a lot less in TW compared to TW, when in reality, this is not true. This is in fact another thing that is misinformation and misformed, seeing that each level themselves in the CN server are giving out 1 jewels for a total of 1,000. As for NA, we're getting 10% to 50%, had 30%, at least 30 jewels taken, and it actually ends out equating to 1,100 jewels once of course you get the percentage even higher. This is actually letting you get a net positive of 100 jewels, meaning in total you're actually getting bonus amount of jewels compared to TW, KR, and CN. Once again, deconfirming, or now finally just straight up throwing that out the window and saying once again, global is getting more. Then if we go ahead and check out the synergy rewards, this was another thing that people were complaining about, saying we are getting less, meaning less rewards. This is actually not true as well. Everything is just repurposed at higher levels, meaning you're getting the same amount of rewards, it's just going to be at the higher levels, meaning you have to work a little bit harder than it is instead of getting them at least at the lower levels. So it's not nerfed. In fact, it's actually still exactly the same, but you guys have to get to the higher levels. Then if we go ahead and check this, another plus that NA servers do have specifically are pay to win pop-up at least ads themselves. These are not applied inside of TWKR or even CN. These are all going to be only for global, meaning for the people who like to spend in the game, this is more or less going to be a benefit for you. Once again, this at least prioritizes to Marion's cognition and as well the LaFell business plan. This was changed. I would like you guys to do as much as possible to really showcase, hey, we need our voices known so you guys can get this out clear. Now, the next thing that we're going to be going over that is a change here, which was quite weird, is that CNTW and KR's new permanent banner characters have their weapons actually added, while for some reason Global does not. If you go ahead and take a look at least on Global side, we don't have our newest weapons added here. I'm guessing it's probably because they need to wait until at least Marion does leave. So we will have to check at 1.3 or sorry 1.2 to see if it'll be there. If it isn't there, this is definitely going to be a major one that you guys really do want to complain about. As for the next thing to complain about here is maintenance compensation. Maintenance has never ever been a thing that you guys should be at least expecting the exact same compensation rewards on, though we are getting 200 gems less, or at least 300 gems less, because we have not gotten any additional jewels or at least any additional codes themselves. So you guys do have to keep in mind, this is another thing that I want you guys to be very vocal about. Then if we go ahead and go down, there are a few more things that Global has added, such as level 30 locks and calling cards, some extra things for at least shop contracts, and then some other things being that cognition crystals are now only exchanged for jewels. Luckily, in the long run, the jewels and cognition crystal amount is actually going to equivalent out itself, but it's still kind of a sad change. The next change that we're going to be going over is the change with the backloaded rewards for SOS. These SOS rewards are actually the same, though they are going to be backloaded in stars. So you will need to go up to higher star amounts to get the exact same gems as much as TW does as well. Then of course, if we go ahead and go down to the bottom here, this is a buff for Global, seeing that Global got both Buoy and On's buffs immediately or very quickly. Same as the A2, instead of A3 switch on Global, this is actually a buff as well, and was only added to CN characters later on. And then these weren't added, or at least this one wasn't added till a couple buffs in here, or at least a couple patches in here, where we're actually able to lower the difficulty of the mainline boss. I feel like this actually came out for Palace 3, so we have to wait and see about that. And then the newest nerf has been the double awakening materials getting nerfed at least 4 whole times. Now, this was a whole deal that ended up happening. These are all the changes. So if I see people review bombing on things that pertain these, you are review bombing that is bad on the company's choice, when actually a lot of these things have been disproven. Those are the people I'm going after for review bombing. As for the people that actually have valid reviews, that is a different extent. You guys keep, of course, putting those reviews out there. They need to be heard. They're able to, of course, make the change for a lot of the company, but you have to do it correctly. Don't review bomb on things that you do not know. The most prominent thing that I've been seeing, especially when it comes down to this game itself, has been a lack of rewards, have been very much so false accusations, even relying to the soft pity condition, when it all has been proven already by not only the devs, but also has been cross-referenced. But thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Peace out.